What's up, guys? It's your boy T Wit, and we're gonna talk about something that I also get a lot of questions about, just from people in my gym or in general. But it's about how to put muscle on and not get fat in the same process. It's really hard for a lot of people to put muscle on and stay as lean as they do. Um, and there's two ways, and two ways that people look at it is, uh, how do I train to get big, and how do I eat to get big? The eating is the most difficult part, in my opinion, because if you want to eat clean and you want to stay lean, you have to eat much more, and it's going to be harder for you to eat more and more often than if you just were going to go eat McDonald's all day. I could, put on weight, fairly easy, um, by eating McDonald's breakfast, you know, having two Egg McMuffins, four hash browns, and uh, and maybe some egg whites, right? You can do that. I can also, then at lunch have a Big Mac and, double quarter pounder. Have that all day, and I'd get in 6, 7, 8,000 calories probably by just eating at McDonald's all day, and I'd get big. I'd get really fat, but I'd get big. You know, well, then maybe not big. I wouldn't look. I don't think I'd look good. So, but I would step on the scale and I'd probably be about 175 instead of 160. But where would I look better? And do I have more? Do I have 15 pounds more muscle at 175? No. I have this probably maybe a little bit more muscle, but not very much. And I'm just a lot fatter. So what's the point? You know. Or I could eat, chicken, lean meat, and rice and sweet potatoes all day. But if I was to do that, in the morning, if I was to eat clean, I would have to have like 10 egg whites in the morning and some oatmeal. For lunch, I'd have to eat 7 times a day. That's why bodybuilders have to eat so often, is because they're eating clean. And that's the only way you can put muscle on and put weight on, you know, but not get fat, is by eating pretty healthy, pretty clean. And then maybe every now and then I can throw in some ice cream or some donuts or something like that, or Five Guys or whatever, to get my caloric intake up for that day. But you know, I'm not gonna get fat the way I would if I was to eat crappy all the time, right? So there's that. Then people go, okay, well, how do I train to get big? Do I do, five by fives, five by fives? Do I do 20 reps every set? Do I do uh, you know, high reps, lower weight? Do I do higher weight, lower reps? Do I do high volume training where I do only 8 to 12 reps? And I do a bunch of sets and I'm going really heavy? Or do I do the Kai Green style where I do 20, 15, 12, 10, and 8, or 15, 12, and 10? Um, you know, and increasing the weight each time, and doing, only 4 sets per exercise, but, doing it for a extended period of time. Um, doing many different movements, you know, um, do I, do I max out on a couple of lifts, all this stuff. Like, there's a lot of different ways that you can put muscle on. I tend to look at it as, how does the muscle grow in the first place? Well, the muscle grows by being broken down and then rebuilding. And so when you lift heavy weight, what happens is you recruit you recruit muscle fibers to push that weight, and when it comes down and you stretch that muscle tears. The muscle fibers tear a little bit, and so what happens is then the protein, the carbs, everything that you eat throughout that day, all the nutrients are going to go to that and help it rebuild. And when it rebuilds, it's going to rebuild bigger and stronger because your body wants to be able to push that weight again without being torn down. Does that make sense? So that being said, people go, oh, okay, so I should do a 5 by 5 because I'm going to go really heavy for a low amount of reps. But you have to sit back and think to yourself, are you recruiting a lot of muscle fibers during that 5 rep set? Probably not. So that's why people, lift pretty heavy and do 8 to 12 reps, is because what happens is not only are you recruiting every muscle fiber. Say if I'm doing bench press, I'm recruiting, and I'm going I can only do 8 reps, but I'm going pretty heavy. Not only am I stretching that muscle a lot and tearing it, but I'm also connecting with it, and that's creating hypertrophy, and that's going to really make that muscle grow. It's gonna push blood into the chest, while it's being broken down, and so that's going to help repair it, and it's also going to stretch the muscle fascia and all that stuff, and then that's what's going to add to ultimate growth. I do recommend the high volume style training, the way Jay Cutler used to train, the way Ron Coleman used to train, unless he was doing an 800-pound squat or deadlift, all this stuff. I recommend that, over doing high reps only or low reps only. I do recommend every now and then, sometimes I rarely go below 8 reps in a set, but if I do, it's because I'm going so heavy and I'm toward the end of my workout where I'm really, really exhausted and I can't push out anymore. And I'll go up 20 reps because I believe that if I'm connecting with my muscle and I'm doing that many reps, I'm actually going to fill that muscle up with so much blood that it's going to really stretch the fascia and really aid in growth. And I also think that helps with overall muscle maturity, size, definition, look, all that type of stuff, and vascularity. So when it comes to training, I really think the high volume style training is the best, while incorporating 20 rep sets, and higher rep sets, so that way you're able to push as much blood into the muscle. Now when it comes to eating, of course, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to tell you that you have to eat clean and a lot. I had somebody come up to me a few days ago and say, dude, I've been in the gym for 6 months and I haven't seen any results. And I go, well, you're not eating enough. Rich Piana said this in one of the first videos I ever watched of him. And he says, people always come up to me and they go, I'm not growing. And he's going, well, you're not eating enough. And they go, and they always come back to him and they would say, well, I'm eating this much. And he's like, no, you're not hearing me. You're not eating enough. It doesn't matter how much you're eating now. If you're not seeing any results, you're not eating enough. That's what this guy did. I said, you are not eating enough. You have to eat more. He goes, I'm already eating, this many calories. How I don't know how much more I can eat. This goes to the whatever it takes type scenario when it comes to getting better and getting bigger. Are you going to sit back and say, well, I'm already eating so much that I can't eat anymore, and you're going to sit back and you're just going to accept the fact that you're not going to grow? Or will you actually try to eat 500 more calories a day? You're not eating enough. That's the simple thing. When I look at myself and I realize that I'm not changing, I'm not growing, if I'm stagnant at 155 pounds or 160 pounds, whatever I'm at, if I'm stagnant there, the reason is because I'm not eating. I'm not eating enough, and I'm not eating, enough throughout the day. So, what do? I eat more, and I see you. If you really start eating more, you'll automatically see your body change very, very quickly. You'll respond better. Overall, you will grow if you eat more. Not crappy, if you eat more. If you eat more chicken, if you eat more beef, if you eat more sweet potatoes, more rice, more noodles, good solid foundation foods that we all know work. Yeah, okay, maybe I'll go throw in a double cheeseburger from McDonald's. And that will help me get my caloric intake up. But if like I said, if I eat McDonald's like that every day, I'm just not going to look good. I'm not going to put on any extra muscle. But if I'm eating clean, the weight is going to be muscle. Now, that's the one last thing I have to talk on. Is if you're looking purely at the scale, you got it all wrong. Don't step on the scale and say, okay, I'm growing. You got to look at yourself in the mirror. There was a time where I was 175 pounds and I looked like crap. Now I'm 160 to 165 pounds depending on the day, and I look way better now than I ever have. It's because I'm leaner, I have more muscle, and I'm not fat. I don't care about the scale. I care about how I'm looking in the mirror. That's it. You can't go based off the scale. Now, when you're getting ready for a show, especially like an NPC show or something like that, you kind of have to worry about the scale because you have to understand where you're going to fall, class-wise. Are you trying to get into the, middle weights, the light weights, or the heavy weights, or whatever? Then you have to really focus on the weight. But other than that, the mirror judges how you look, not the scale, not any filtered pictures that you put on Instagram, nothing, but the mirror and what other people and what maybe a trained eye can tell you. That's it. Because look at Dexter Jackson, for example. If he cared about the scale, he would probably try to be like 250 on stage, because he'd be bigger and better, if you go by the scale. But no, Dexter Jackson on stage is 220 pounds, 230 pounds, maybe. He's around there. He's light, but he's still number 3 in the world right now. Phil Heath, 238 to 242 pounds on stage. Best in the world. If he cared about size and he cared about the scale, guess how much he would weigh? 260. Everybody cared about how much Big Ramy weighed. Big Ramy stepped on stage one year at 315 pounds, they said. That was 2015, and he looked awful. Guess what? He comes back in 2016 at 280 pounds. Then, 285 pounds at the night show where he looks his best. And he looks absolutely amazing, because they didn't care about the scale. They cared about how he looked. If you care about the scale all the time, you're not going to get anywhere. You're going to psych yourself out. You're never going to do cardio. You're never going to be lean, and you're only going to eat crap, because that's how you're going to get big. And you're never going to look the way you want to look. Focus on your appearance and the size and symmetry and all that stuff, and the way that your physique looks, not based off of the scale, because the scale can only tell you so much. And that's my 12-minute rant for you guys. It's just something I hear a lot, and so I kind of had to say something about it. But yeah, so go ahead and follow me on Instagram at tflex_bodybuilding. I post pictures of, bodybuilders today, and of myself, and some, maybe the way I train that day or something like that. Go ahead and hit subscribe to this channel. I really, really appreciate it. Comment below. Tell me what you want to see. Tell me what you want to hear, what you think of the video. Hit like the video too, so that way I can know that you actually like the content. And then, yeah, just keep on the lookout for more videos. T-Flex Fitness on YouTube. That's it for me today, guys. Peace.